बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम जीअं त असांजो चैप्टर नंबर 3 आहे द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन्स ऑफ जस्टिस। हाणे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो मक़सदु इहो आहे त इंसाफ़ जे निज़ाम खे कीअं बहितर कजे ऐं उन में ज़ाहिरी ॻाल्हि आहे कहिड़ा एलिमेंट अची था वञनि ऐं कहिड़ा पिलर्स अची था वञनि। तव्हांखे ख़बर आहे त स्टेट में असांजा 3 पिलर्स ईंदा आहिनि। हिकु उन में जुडिशरी अची वेंदी आहे, उन में एग्ज़ीक्यूशन अची वेंदी आहे ऐं लेजिस्लेशन अची वेंदी आहे। अच्छा, जेको पार्लियामेंट आहे उहो हमेशह लॉ मेकिंग आहे ऐं जेकी जुडिशरी आहे उहो हिकिड़ो जेको आहे त असांजो ऑर्गन आहे ऐं उन खां पोइ जेकी एग्ज़ीक्यूशन कराईंदी आहे त उन में असांजा फोर्सिस अची था वञनि। जीअं असांजो पुलिस हिकु क़िस्म जो फोर्स आहे, आर्मी हिकु क़िस्म जो फोर्स आहे, या ॿिया बि जेकी असांजा गवर्नमेंट जा इंस्टीट्यूशन्स आहिनि इहे बि अची था वञनि। इहो इन्हनि जो स्टेट आहे, इन जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो मक़सदु ई इहो आहे। The meaning of administrations of justice. In this section we will first identify the meaning of administrations of justice, followed by the discussions of its necessities. The issue raised by Salman about what came first, whether law or administrations of justice, will also be taken in. इन चए थो फर्स्ट में जेको आहे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अची थी वञे या फर्स्ट में लॉ अची थो वञे। इन जो फर्स्ट में जेको आहे पहिरियों लॉ ईंदो, उन खां पोइ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ईंदी। According to the definitions of administrations of justice, Sir John Salman defines law is the body of principle recognized and applied by the state in the administrations of justice. Here law is defined in terms of administrations of justice. It is therefore necessary to understand the meaning of administrations of justice to grasp the full meaning of the definitions. The administration of justice is defined as the maintenance of right within a political community by means of physical force of the state. Administration of justice is the functions of the state, and such administration is carried out through the sanctions or some form of the compulsion. हाणे इंसाफ़ जी जेकी ज़रूरत छो थी पए, necessity of the administrations of the justice. In this section we deal with the necessity of administration of justice. हाणे कुदरती तौर ते जेको इंसानु आहे उहो वायलेंट आहे, ज़ालिम आहे, जाहिल आहे। माना हू जेकॾहिं हुन सां को विढ़ंदो त हुन सां हू विढ़ी छॾींदो। इन ई चए थो हर्ड ऑफ वॉल इज़ ग्रेटर एंड मोर एट वन देन सो मेनी मेन अनलेस दे ऑल हैड वन रीज़न इज देम हैव वन पावर ओवर देम। Man is by nature the fighting animal, and force is the ultimate of reasons, not of kings alone, but of all mankind, without a common power to keep them in awe. It is impossible for man to cohere in any but the most primitive forms of society without the use of coercive force. Civilization is unattainable. Injustice is unchecked and triumphant. And the life of man is a Hobbes says, solitary, poor, nasty, brutish and short. Much before him, the Muslim writer Al-Mawardi said that the absence of coercive power that can ensure administrations of justice will definitely lead to chaos and distractions. उन खां पोइ जेको इंसानु आहे उहो कॾहिं बि नथो थी सघे, अकेलो नथो थी सघे या छॾे नथो सघे टू ग्रांट द जस्टिस टू अदर्स जेसीं ताईं हुनखे इंसाफ़ न मिलंदो ॿिनि मां। द मैन कैन नॉट बी लेफ्ट अलोन टू ग्रांट जस्टिस टू अदर। द मेन फंक्शंस ऑफ स्टेट इज टू गवर्न अकॉर्डिंग विद द जस्टिस। Human history has shown that some form of the compulsion and control is essential for the realization in the human conduct of the ideas of justice. Unfortunately, men are constituted in a manner that even when they understand what is right and just, it does not mean that they are going to do what is right and grant justice to others. Spinoza side, we have seen that the way pointed out by reasons herself is exceeding difficult, and so much so that they who pursue themselves that a multitude of men can be introduced to life by the rule of reason alone are dreamers of dreams and of the golden age of the poet. He means that men cannot be left alone to do justice and right Those who think that this is possible are dreaming. A time may come when force will not be necessary to keep the human beings in check, but so far this is merely a wish society. However, may reach a stage when force will not be needed, and the mere declarations of rights and duties will be enough for ensuring the compliances. According to Salman says that if we are to maintain justice, it is necessary to add compulsion to instruction. It is not enough to point out the way it is needful to compel men to walk in it. Hence, the existence of various regulative or coercive system, the purpose of which is upholding and enforcement of right and justice by some instrument of external constraint. Origin of administrations of justice. The origin of administration of justice requires that we examine the nature of primitive society. Only primitive society can thrive without superior force. Primitive जो मकसद ये हुआ था society जो बुनियाद जैसे शुरू काउंटी पे society कीं develop थी. In the beginning of man redress his wrongs and avenge himself upon his enemies by his own hand, aided, if needed, by the hands of his friends and kinsmen. But at the present day he is defended by the sword of the state. Every man was constituted by the judge in his own cause, might be made the sole measures of right, as long as there have been men. There has probably been some form of the human society. The state of nature before is not a balance of society, but the absence of society so organized on the basis of physical force as to constitute a state. Human societies quarrel with mankind. The rise of political society, properly so called, is an event in human history. Administration of justice became the substitute for the private vigilance and self-help. One of the most important elements in the transition from the natural to the civil state is the substitution of the force of the incorporeal community for the force of individual as an instrument of the redress and punishment of injury. Privileges are transmuted into the administration of criminal justice, while self-justice takes the place of violent self-help. The administration of justice is the modern civilized substitute for the primitive practice of private vigilance and violent self-help. And Salman said that administrations of the justice by the state must be regarded as a permanent and essential element of civilization, as a device that admits of no substitutes. उन खां पोइ असांजो जेको आहे regulations of human conduct and sanctions. There are three major systems for regulating human conduct. One of the most important of these systems is the administration of justice by the state. Another is the control exercised over men by the opinions of society in which they live. This includes religion. A third is that scheme of coercion is between the society of states for the enforcement of the principle of international justice. The instrument of coercion employed by any regular system is called sanction, and rule of right supported by such a means is established sanction. This physical force, the various methods of application is the sanction applied by the state in the administration of justice. Censure, ridicule, or contempt are the sanction by which society is opposed to the state enforce the rule of morality. War is the last and most affordable of sanctions which in the society of nation maintain the law of nation. Three of evils to follow hereafter from drive and anger are the sanctions of religion. So far, religion assumes the form of regulative, coercive system. A sanction is not necessarily punishment or penalty punishment. Wrongdoer is a very effectual way of maintaining the right, but it is not only the way we enforce the rule of right, not only by imprisonment the thief, but by depriving him of his plunder and restoring to it true owner. Each of these applications of the physical force of the state equally essential. Law is the logical system administration of justice. Law has been defined the body of principles observed and acted on by the state and administration of justice. With this definition, objection may be made by saying define law by references to the administration of justice. You have reserved the proper order of ideas, for law is the first in logical order and the administration of justice second. The latter therefore must be defined by references to the former and not vice versa. Salman observed that this observation based on enormous conception of essential nature of the administration of justice. The Salman observed that this observation based on enormous conception the primary purpose of this sentence of justice that which is employed to maintain right to uphold the justice, to protect the rights, to redress wrongs, lies secondary and unessential, consist of the fixed principle of which this experience. He argued that justice lies merely the instrument and the means. The instrument must be defined by reference to the aim. It is essential to clear injustice of this matter, he says, to remember that administration of justice is perfectly possible without law at all. How the experience may be, however real it may be. It is not necessary that the course of the state should be maintaining right and redressing wrong, act according to those fixed and predetermined principles which are called the law. To understand the detail or seek position on the merits and demerits of fixed principle of the law.